Alright everybody, minasan, konnichiwa, Instinctual in the house, Daniel desu. I have returned, and this time it is for another Instinctual Aside, where I talk about things that aren't necessarily related to Pokemon Go or Thank You Chester videos, which are coming soon by the way. So this is going to be about another Japanese album, one called WORLD Domination by the band Band-maid, which features 5 young ladies dressed as maids, which is kind of their thing. That's the way they rock, and I can really appreciate that. I wasn't too familiar with the band when I started this little review journey here that I took to really get in depth into the band and this album especially. But now I've grown a greater appreciation for them and for this album. So. Yeah, it was a cool process to kind of go through it and be more familiarized with their music and just with their whole kind of aesthetic in general. So yeah, let's get into it. Band-maid's 5th album, WORLD Domination, and my first impressions, I didn't think it was anything too out of the ordinary for them. I listened to it once. I was like, okay, that's cool. So I wasn't really taken aback by it, so to speak, when I first heard it. But when I gave it like a good 20 or so listens, I think that changed my mind a little bit. So yeah, let's get into it track by track, and we could start breaking this down a bit. So the first track on this album, I Can't Live Without You, and that's a track that I don't know if it really fits as the very first track of the album. I don't know if it really leads into the whole track listing that well. I feel like they could have maybe put a different song there, one that has a better beginning that really kind of sets the tone better. This one just kind of goes right into the music, and I don't know, doesn't really give you that sense like something's beginning. It just kind of starts, and then that's it. Maybe that's what they were going for, to kind of startle you a bit and not lull you into a sense of security or something. So yeah, I just think that could probably have been a better order of the tracks if they would have put something else there. But with that said, I did really like the bridge of the song. There's a cool little breakdown with a creative guitar solo, and it's a preview of the metalness to come for the rest of the album, which definitely has a lot of metalness to it. I would say the strongest part of this song is Miku's lyrics. So she talks about an endless dream and the cruelties of passionate love, and it's very poetic, and it really does kind of create sort of that imaginative space around the song that I thought was cool. So yeah, we'll go on to the next song, which is Play. And this is kind of a full-on like thrash metal song. It kind of foreshadows once again the heaviness of the album. That seems to be the direction that they're going with this. So yeah, it's I love the Saiki's vocals on this one. She kind of reminds me of like the closest thing I could think of was Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. This sort of like that really a powerful, emotional voice. Which I mean is kind of I would say more of an American rock sort of staple, but I think she does it quite well on her own. She just has to speak some English in the songs, and when she does, I think she does a pretty good job considering everything involved. Really catchy verse and chorus. Saiki's just spitting out those lyrics nonstop, and it really makes for a frenetic experience with the song, which is cool. Yeah, so let's go higher, as she says. To the next, number 3, One and Only. And, that sounds like something that could have been on Just Bring It, I think. It's got more of a pop rock melody, which is reminiscent of that album, I feel like. The guitar tone matches that too, and it's a little slower as well. So it definitely feels like it could have been on the previous album. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that could have been the first song, just the way they introduced that song, with the guitars the way they are. That might have been a better opening track for the album, because I did listen to the album like a couple times with it on shuffle, and it just was shuffling back and forth to different songs, and actually kind of sounded better, I feel like, than the actual way the tracks are listed currently on the official album. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they could use a rearrangement to give it sort of a better flow as it goes from the beginning of the album to the end. So yeah, let me know if you think that was something that could have been changed as well. In the comments, we'll talk about that a bit more. But yeah, the most powerful aspect of this song, I think, were the lyrics. When Saiki sings, oh, you're not a lonely one, you are the only one. And I think that's really powerful, to kind of just flip the script on that, where you're, you don't have to be alone, you're actually, the one I care about the most. And I think that's a really cool sort of turn of phrase that they create with those lyrics. So I thought that was really like emotionally powerful. And then when she says, "Show me," it's like that was really cool, because it kind of like opens up your imagination. Show me, your love. In this instance, I think we have two people that are just like, for the first time, kind of, well, at least how I imagine it, for the first time, they're like showing their love to each other and being very vulnerable and intimate. And I think the way the song builds after that, with the twangy guitars and Saiki's voice building back up, is just really like a musical heaven. It felt so right. Listening to that in the song. So I really like that part of that song. On to number 4 is Domination, which is kind of like a title track. I mean, it's not called World Domination; it's called Domination. But it's got half the title in there at least. And you kind of wonder about these sort of title tracks, because sometimes they could be very meaningful and really want to nail the concept of the album and be very clear about what this album's about, and they can kind of condense that all into one song. And I don't know if they really did that here so much on Domination. The song kind of, I mean, it's fast and heavy. There's no doubt about that. But that's kind of where it stops, I think, with the depth of it. It's a pretty simple song. I don't know if there's too much, as far as wavering back and forth with the different rhythms and tempos. It pretty much stays the course as far as that goes. So yeah, I think the video was interesting, because it did feature a lot of constructivist like graphics in it, but the problem with that is I don't know if it really matched what was going on with the girls at the time. They were kind of like having a tea party or playing a board game or just rocking out with their instruments, and then there's all this like political, governmental, like in-your-face graphical stuff happening in between, which I don't know if really matched what was going on in the video, or really was going on in the song. So yeah, it looked cool, but I don't know if it really matched perfectly. So that was just a kind of a weird like little set of juxtapositions. I thought this was kind of odd, but yeah. So Domination, it was just kind of there. I don't know. I wasn't too blown away by that one. But let's go on to number 5, Fate. And I do love the beginning of Fate. The dirty guitar riffs, it's heavy right away. That's pretty cool. It kind of gives the album a new energy that it may have lost from the previous track. It's a powerful kind of rah-rah song, with the haze in there. So that's pretty cool. And Saiki commands the vocals very well, which he does throughout most of the album, which is pretty cool to listen to. And then once again, Kanami nails the solo. And she goes up and down the scales with that kind of tone, the squeal, the guitar, like it just really catches your attention, and she does so great on these solos, and you'll hear more about that, I think, going forward in this album, because she definitely shows off what she can do on many of these tracks. And then from that we go to Spirit. So I love the pulsing beat of this song, I do. Kanami and Miku are really they're really pushing forward the song with like changing tempos and rhythms, so that's pretty cool. It's not as heavy, I would say. It's more fluid, more of like a dramatic song. in certain ways. I think Saiki once again is kind of like the commander just trying to rally the troops together. With this rah-rah sort of delivery. It's like let's take what's ours and let's go. And it's very in your face, and I think that'll really play well live. So I think a lot of these songs will do that, but this one especially, when she's just shouting out "Spit it," as they say. So 7, "Rockin' Me," and it does sound similar to Spirit in many ways. Once again, kind of a rah-rah song, getting the troops going, get everyone on their feet. So Saiki's vocal's a bit softer. Maybe not as direct in some ways. More kind of a songy sort of song where it's more melodic. I feel like, it's just showing off their rock skills. The "Rockin' Me." It's kind of reminding you what a rock song sounds like. It has the sort of staples of it throughout. So once again, kanami. Great solo on the bridge there. She does a great job once again. It's short and sweet, but it's definitely memorable. So she keeps nailing it, and just kind of a straight up rock song, which is cool. Number 8, "Clang," and this is the third song in a row that kind of sounds the same. So you're seeing this sort of pattern here of the heavy, fast guitars. And Saiki singing up a storm, and Kanami sort of blistering solo. They're hitting that sort of stride there in that way. For better or for worse, it's kind of the same stuff at this point. I bless Akane's heart for keeping up with the drums and these guitars at the same time. And that's a really fast drumming that she's doing that whole time. So I definitely give her credit for her drum skills there, which is it's a tough thing to do. Just keeping pace with those guitars. Once again, another song that'll play well live, and this album is kind of I think made for that live performance, live experience. Absolutely. Number 9, "Turn Me On," and I really enjoyed this song. It's nice and heavy from the start, which is cool. Kind of brings back the energy that might have once again dipped from the last song. Misa's bass spotlight is also quite cool. I love it when they give the bassist a little action. When they're sort of in the background for most of the album. Just kind of breathes. Even if it's just for a few seconds, they let the song breathe a bit and give more of a spotlight to her, which is cool. And then Kanami's solo is quite out of this world. It's like an 80s hair metal band solo. Makes you go like, whoa! The way she's just wailing on that thing is really incredible. That's might be one of her best solos she's ever done on the bridge there. You have to give that a listen. So "Turn Me On." Definitely check it out, if only for her solo, because it is wonderful, and really highlights that song quite well. Number 10, "Carry On Living," and so this is kind of got more of like a positive tone to it, to keep people in positive spirits, carry on living. This is something very direct that they're trying to help people, that are living in the darkness of whatever issues are going on in their life, and they're looking to make a difference, at least with this song, and maybe the whole album, which I think is really cool. Right on, rock on. It's funny because it's not really a slow song. You would think with this sort of like darker theme, with people maybe taking their own lives, or being in a state of just pure dread of life, depression, anxiety, whatever. You would think sometimes with this kind of theme it would be a slower song, something a bit more. With the mood's taken down with the theme of it, so you want to kind of match that. But the song is actually kind of a lively song. It's fast, but still a bit more nuanced, I would say. Not like too fast to where it's like many of the songs, they're just going for the metal vibe, and that's kind of it. Saiki's kind of just pleading. It's a long way to go, and don't depend on others. You know, so she's kind of in a very pleading voice, trying to get people to understand where she's coming from, to carry on, for people to carry on living. And you know, I think that's just a really cool sort of way to go about it. You know, Kanami delivers another great solo, and it fits the song really well, I think. And it is uplifting in a more energetic way, which is cool. So after that, we have song 11, which is Daydreaming. And whenever I hear this song, it always makes me smile, because it's one of those songs that really you know, makes you appreciate music for what it really is. You know, the innocence of it, the purity of it. You know, because there's a lot of you know, people out there that will, you know, vilify everything, anything and everything in the world. But this, you know, something like this song where, you know, the instruments kind of reach different heights at the same time and these kind of bloom together, is something apart from that, I feel like. And it's very beautiful. It's a powerful yet tender song about yearning for someone. And it's, you know, it really tugs at the heartstrings. You know, it does. And you know, every time I hear it, I just kind of get lost in it. You know, that emotional depth that they found in this song is incredible. It's incredible, and it's probably my favorite track, actually, on this whole record of, you know, 14, 15 songs. You know, the backing vocals Miku gives when she's you know daydreaming of you, like that, in her soft little beautiful voice, is really kind of stunning, you know, because you don't hear a lot of her, because you hear a lot of Saiki's vocals, but Miku, you know, her soft little background voice is really touching, and I think it adds so much to this song. So it's a perfect combination, it really is, of the vocals and the instruments, and they're all just kind of, once again, kind of coming together, blooming together, and creating this amazing track that once again Kanami comes in, lights a fire with her solo to just kind of like take over once again. But it still fits, it works, you know, because it's just an emotional song, and it just brings you to a certain point where you're just kind of like in a euphoric state, which you know, which you just need more of that in your life, you know. Party hard, man. So it's a beautiful song, and the video is quite good too. You know, it kind of speaks to the fact that they're all, you know, at the beginning of the video, just sort of alone. They're all in their own space. You know, the camera just is on each individual band member for the beginning of it, with Saiki kind of like on a side profile, you know, just sort of singing to herself in a secluded area. Miku looks lost. You know, she looks quite sad in some ways. That she's longing for someone too. And I just think the video is really well shot. You know, all the angles, the different locations, the detail in the background. I mean, just gorgeous. So Daydreaming, yeah, I think that's my favorite track on the record. And you gotta check out the video too. Awesome stuff. After that is number 12, Anemone, and this is sort of another beautiful track that's right after this amazingly gorgeous track of Daydreaming. We go to Anemone, which is this beautiful ballad that you know, that once again sees the band sort of go for emotional depth, and it sees them as very vulnerable. So you know, I love the beginning. Saiki's vocals kind of float over this acoustic guitar, and you know, her voice is just so stark. You know, it just kind of sounds very down. You know, and it takes like time for her voice to rise back up into like her normal tone, because you know, she's obviously very affected by what's going on in this song. So yeah, I mean, the whole song just kind of builds around her voice, and the instruments just play really well to the vulnerability of Saiki's voice, and of you know, the lyrics and everything involved with that. And then you have Akane's percussion that really just it feels so much more powerful, because you know, you have like the acoustic guitar and sort of the lighter vibe, and then she comes in, she's pounding away, and that really adds a lot to the kind of the depth of the song, which is really cool. So yeah, be at your side forever, living in that moment. You know, that's kind of what the song is sort of, trying to paint the picture of just, you know, probably just two people that are in love and trying to figure out what's going on with their relationship, and don't want to really worry about the future so much as what's going on now, and try to live in that moment and just let it last as long as it can. So it's a beautiful ballad. I love the little melody that goes through it, and yeah, it's definitely one of the best songs they've ever written, I would say, no doubt about it. All right, so 13, we're almost there. Alive or Dead, and this is back. This is ramping it back up to the high energy stuff. The lyrics talk about choosing life or death, and to believe in fate. So you know, I've kind of read this as maybe, you know, one of the people in this situation maybe trying to convince the other person that you know, that there's a path you can go, you know, according to what they believe, you know, that it's better for you to do this than maybe some other alternative. So just this is a back and forth sort of conversational thing. But it does speak to kind of the dark themes that the band does address sometimes in their music. You know, just kind of like the stark realizations of what it means to be in love, or what it means to be a person. You know, kind of all the things that go along with that. And Kanami's solo is just it's nuts, man. It's got like, it almost sounds like lasers being shot at you, like it just wow. It's really cool. I don't know what you call that exactly. I don't know if it's harmonics or whatever it is, but it's just shooting at you all these sounds in like this, you know, like hyperspace. I thought it was really cool the way they used that kind of sound effect in that solo to really drive home the energy of the song. So yeah. You know, I think it sounds a lot like some of the other songs in many ways, but that solo was a highlight, and I think the lyrics are interesting too. 14, Dice, and I really like this song. I think in this song is an interesting aspect where kind of every band member shines in their own way. You have Akane and Misa's like kind of drum bass sort of war going on at the beginning, where they're going back and forth with each other, which I thought was really cool. That was a nice little intro. And then Kanami's blistering guitar work throughout, where she's really going all over the fretboard. You can tell, especially in the video, that she's just going all over the place with it, which is awesome. And then, you know, we have Saiki's vocal control, which, you know, this album is like her kind of her coming out party, because she shows that she can really sing, and she has a lot of control over her voice, which I really like. I really like good singers. You know, ones that you know, not necessarily can just hit the high notes or get really low with this guttural screams and all that stuff. But I like singers that can control their voice and have a really nice way about that, going to the upper register and then transitioning back down, and doing that in sort of a more efficient and, you know, beautiful way. So she does a lot of that really well in this album, and I give her a lot of credit for that. And then you know, Miku is sort of, in a lot of songs, she sort of takes a back seat, I feel like, to Saiki with vocals and to guitar from Kanami. So she sort of sits in between. But once again, she writes a lot of the songs, at least with the lyrics. So, you know, in that way, she does have her fingerprints on basically everything. You just don't realize it because, you know, she takes a back seat instrumentally a lot. But I mean, she's the one that founded the band, right? And she still is, you know, probably one of the driving forces from the back end, putting the songs together, which is cool too. So yeah, the song really has more time to breathe. You know, they give it the time to sort of go in different directions and give Misa more of a spotlight with the bass. You know, here's some of her bass lines, which is really cool to get her some spotlight in these songs. So yeah, it breaks down. The song breaks down a bit, and then when it builds back up, you know, you go with it. You know, that sort of building of excitement of where's the song going to go next. You know, I think that is really effective in this song. They did a great job with just building the song back up after they break it back down. And in the video, I really enjoyed the video. Like I didn't realize there was so much going on in the video until I watched it back, I think earlier today. where you have the girl like sitting blindfolded with like her doll, and as the video goes on, as the song goes on, there's a light in the background, and at the very beginning of the video it's very dim, but as the video goes on, the light gets larger and larger and larger until at the end it's just a blinding light, which is ironic because at the end the girl in the blindfold loses her blindfold. So in the blinding light she can finally see, and she sees that there's more than just what was in front of her before. She was sitting in the darkness. Now she was in a full coat of sunlight. It was just drenched. She was drenched in it, in this blinding glowing light, and it made the band look really cool playing in it in the background. Seeing their kind of shadows going back and forth. I thought that was awesome. And I think that might speak to the fact that they're trying to open people's eyes to what they can do as a band, and open people's eyes as to what you can do as a human being. Because this whole album has been about kind of dealing with inner issues, of love with another person or with yourself. Can you love yourself? What's going on in your head? So it's cool to kind of take, this is like a more metaphorical approach, with the sunlight that kind of casts the darkness away, and it's a blinding sunlight. It's light, it's positivity, and it's in its purest form. And so I think the video accomplishes a lot in those final seconds when you do see her kind of just walking off into the light. And 15, which was I guess sort of a bonus track sort of thing, was Honey. Not to be confused with my last album thoughts video, which was on Scandal's Honey, but this is Honey the song, and this is actually a cover of a band, Miku. So they did this, I think, a couple, like 5-6 years ago or something. Shangri-La was the album. Actually, the first time I heard it was when I was doing my research on this whole album, and the original's amazing. Like I didn't even know much about Miku. I had no idea that they were maybe as prolific as they are. So I love the original song. The lead singer's like vocal delivery, it's so like psychedelic and deranged and unhinged. I loved it. I loved it. It was so cool. And then Band-maid did a faithful cover. I think they did do a great job of putting their own spin on the song. They even gave it something new at the beginning, which was like this electronics sort of cool, like vocal, like layered track thing that the original track didn't have. So I thought that was kind of a cool spin on the original. Again, gave it their own flair a bit, and it was something more electronic, more instrumental, more kind of out there song. And I didn't know it was a cover at first. I'm like, oh well, they should probably be more songs like that, because that sounded awesome. It turned out to be one of my favorite tracks on the record, and it wasn't even something that they wrote, something they covered. So I think that's kind of a cool last song to leave the fans with, because it opens the door to more songs like that, where it's not just straight up metal or straight up rock or pop or whatever. It's kind of more out there, sort of like psychedelic, electronic, layered material. So I think that's a nice way to leave them wanting more. So there you have it, 15 tracks from Band-maid's World Domination, right there. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to go and research this band a bit, really get more familiar, and they've become part of my life soundtrack. I'll think about these times that I've had the past a few months since the album came out, and I'll think about Band-maid's World Domination. Absolutely. So yeah, there you have it. Another album in the books. So there's other stuff going on in the Japanese music world, I suppose. Scandal's going on tour in the United States, so I want to check out one of those tour dates. I just bought one for Dallas, so if you're going out to the Dallas show, maybe I'll meet you up. That's happening middle of September, so I've never been to Texas before, so it's a great reason to go. Check out Scandal for the second time ever. I'll be watching them live. And then, what else? Utada Hikaru. is coming out with a new album actually next month. Hatsukoi, I think it's called. I have to take a look at that. But she has an incredible discography and an amazing voice, and I really want to listen to that album and maybe review that as well. And hopefully we can keep this going a bit, because love my Japanese music, and I hope you enjoy these videos as well. So yeah, thanks for watching once again, and as always, follow your instincts. Peace out. Kitsune.